With Harry Gurney making a real nuisance of himself, Nottinghamshire completed a crucial innings and 103-run victory on the third day of their LV County Championship match with Sussex in Horsham, the visitors' third win of the season, which puts the home team deep into relegation trouble. Gurney started the third morning with 3 of the 4 wickets to fall so far, which had reduced Sussex to 157 for 4 in reply to Nottinghamshire's enormous 570 for 70 clad. Luke Wright struck that early boundary off Brett Hutton, who responded by having Craig Kachopa LBW in the day's 4th over, the first of 16 Sussex wickets to fall. Gurney hasn't always been a part of the championship lineup this year, as his county have introduced the likes of Hutton and Luke Wood, but in spite of being blasted for a couple of boundaries here by Wright, this was to be a very good day for the left-armer. A bit of extra pace and bounce brought him his 4th wicket of the innings, as Ben Brown couldn't get out of the way at a ball aimed in at his body, Chris Reed doing the rest behind the stumps. That had Sussex on 187 for 6, still 373 runs behind, and not even Wright would have believed that the follow-on could be avoided, even though he got to a 50 off his 86 delivery. But Gurney removed him before he'd added another run. Stephen Mullaney offered a bit of catching practice, which gave the bowler just the 4th 5-wicket haul of his career and his 2nd against his opposition this year. The rest of the innings failed to shine. Gary Keady came on to have Ollie Robinson taken behind by Reed before he'd scored. Peter Burgoyne was bowled by Wood, and then last man Matt Hobden gave Keady his 3rd wicket of the innings and Reed his 5th catch. His tally of dismissals in the first-class arena now up to 986. Sussex were all out for 213, and so they were back in following on 357 runs behind. And before a run of that deficit had been knocked off, Luke Wells edged Wood to Mullaney. A 3-day finish was now a possibility, Notts taking 7 wickets in the morning to have them a long way ahead. Matt Machan decided that if he was going to go down, then he would do it fighting. A couple of times already this summer, the left-hander has produced powerful performances with shots aplenty. Some would argue that he actually looks a better player when going after the ball, and few would disagree with that assessment here as he raced through the numbers. He and Ed Joyce, still not in the best form of his life this year, got their side off to a much better start this time out, with this pair putting on 92 runs for the 2nd wicket in 20 overs, Machan at a 50 off only 44 balls. This was a big moment of the day, Joyce on 32 using a leading edge to send a delivery from Gurney into the hands of Alex Hales in the gully. Things did slow down a bit after that as Chris Nash joined Machan, these two adding 32 runs for the 3rd wicket in a dozen overs. But then Nash was LBW to a full ball from Hutton to go for 15, with his side on 124 for 3 and trailing by 233 runs. 29 more runs came before tea, with Wright back in to join Machan, who went to the break on an 85, which had been made off only 89 deliveries. And the Scottish international continued to play brightly on the restart, and for the first time in the match pretty much, there was a period where the home team were looking good. While they were still a very long way behind, they hadn't given up hope just yet. Especially not Machan, who was at his 3rd ton of the summer off only 99 deliveries. Naturally, a boundary taking him to his mark. It was his 12th. This was a magnificent effort from Machan, who showed the rest of his team just what was still possible on this pitch. And he was very soon heading back to the pavilion to see his mates as Gurney again found some extra bounce to have the batsman held by Mullaney after making 108 out of a score of 183 for 4. Samit Patel then involved himself as an attempted sweep by Kachopa went all wrong, Keady helping out his spin partner with a catch. Brown then shovelled his first ball to James Taylor to give Gurney yet another wicket, his 8th of the match. It left Sussex on 192 for 6, 165 runs behind and staring down the barrel of a 6th defeat of the season. Dragging the game out now was left to Wright, who, in spite of most of the things going on around him, had a good day. That 6 off Patel was followed by more boundaries as he helped the total up to 222. But a win by the end of the day for the visitors was back on the cards when Robinson glanced a ball from Wood to Reid, who had a match to remember as captain, keeper and batsman. For the second time in the day, Wright was raising his bat on getting to a 50, on a day when Michael Yardy sadly announced that he will be retiring from the game at the end of the season. It is up to the likes of Wright to keep the Sussex fires burning. His second half century of the day came off 59 balls. He then moved into one-day mode before he tried to go big off Keedy, Reid making another very difficult catch look extremely easy as Wright departed for 67. Keedy too can be very proud of his return to the sport. His fifth wicket of the match followed when Steve McGoffin was taken at short leg by Ricky Vessels. And this one-sided contest was all over when Wood picked one up to win an LBW to remove Burgoyne for 13. Sussex all out for 254 to lose very heavily. This was by some way Nottinghamshire's best performance of the summer, and the form they've picked up in the T20 Blast seems to have made all the difference to them. They are suddenly on a roll. The maximum 24 points they took for this innings and 103-run victory makes a lot of difference to them. They are now 23 points clear of Sussex, whose 2 points here sees them drop into the bottom two, and they still have to play Yorkshire twice from their last 5 games.